Sanju Verma, this is not a new idea. This has been prompted in the past as well when Mr. Vajpayee was Prime Minister, when Mr. Advani was the leader of the opposition in 2010. In fact, it goes all the way back to 1983 when the Election Commission went into this idea. So from Election Commission, Law Commission, all of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, all of these folks came to the conclusion that it's a great idea. It saves costs, all of that fine, but it's a legislative and constitutional hurdle that needs to be overcome, almost like a nightmare that needs to be overcome. So why is the Modi government floating this idea now in the fag end of your second term, and that too on the very day the India Alliance parties are meeting in Mumbai?
Zaka, I will just say this, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has repeatedly, on various occasions from umpteen forums, he has reinforced and reiterated the need to have simultaneous elections because he stated in as many words that it eases the burden on the exchequer, it is easy on the federal structure, and it does away with the administrative nightmare of having a model code of conduct in place every 2 or 3 months down the line. And as far as the timing of this goes, you saying why on a day that the I.N. was meeting at the Grand Hyatt in Mumbai, my limited response to that is, sometimes it's better to just take things as they seem prima facie on the face of it, rather than trying to dig deep and find a story where there's none. The other very interesting point which you made, I think you gave us a very comprehensive introduction. Yes, you're right. Atal Bihari Vajpayee discussed it with Sonia Gandhi in 2003. L.K. Advani actually got the informal support of the then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee. But finally, one nation, one election never went beyond an idea. I think it's an idea whose time has come. Forget about the financial costs, which will come down dramatically, or the administrative hassles, which will reduce significantly. I just have this to say that, imagine every time there is an election, we are all aware, let's not try and fool ourselves, the bureaucracy, teachers in government schools, professors, various kinds of officers, junior level officers, everybody has to keep everything aside and ensure that there are free and fair elections. So the entire administrative machinery, comes to a standstill for a lot of government officers and for the bureaucracy. So why not have something which is synchronized? And I don't think it will happen in a rush, Zaka. So the opposition seems to be tying itself up in knots because two important things need to happen. I will take 20 seconds.
Quickly, ma'am.
There has to be an amendment to the Representation of Peoples Act 1951, assuming that the Modi government even does that. The other very important caveat is that there has to be a ratification on this entire issue by 50% of the state legislative assemblies.
Correct.
And unless 50% of the states ratify, one nation, one election cannot be implemented. So we are today in power in 15 states on a standalone basis or with our alliance partners. And you still have 10 or 12 states and union territories where the BJP is not in power. So the opposition should, cool its heels and not try and read too much between the lines. Why not start a process?
Okay, so let me ask Salman Soz this, and I'm going to go across to that the nearer video wall. Salman, the Congress party and other opposition parties also keep saying this time and time again that electoral bonds, opaque financing, BJP corners all the money, and therefore they're able to defeat you in elections. So you should welcome one nation, one poll. Instead of spending every 6 months for every assembly election, Lok Sabha election, you just spend once in 5 years. That should suit you. Why are you then opposed to the idea of one nation, one poll?
Zaka, I'm not here to play BJP's pitch. There are many more immediate issues that confront this country and the people of this country. Why don't we have a debate about one nation and one friend? There were serious allegations about Mr. Gautam Adani today in international media. Let's talk about one nation, one friend. Let's talk about one nation, no jobs. That is
You
a
are
far
digressing
more.
from the topic of the
Please,
debate,
please
Zaka. You
don't,
don't
please
allow
don't,
me to
do
digress.
not interrupt.
The topic
Do
is
not
not
interrupt
Ma'am,
me.
let him make
Do
his
not
point. Ma'am,
interrupt me.
please, let him
Do not
make his
interrupt
point.
me.
Let him make his point, please.
Please do not
Let's
interrupt
be
me.
fair. Let's
Please
be
keep
fair.
quiet.
Sanjuji,
You never
let
allow
him
me
make
to
his
digress.
point. Let him make his point. And if he's digressing, I will rein him in. But at least,
No,
give him the opportunity to
Zaka.
make his point.
Why
Yeah,
is he
Salman.
digressing? Why is he
Yeah. I get it.
The Prime Minister can do whatever he wants.
Salman,
But we will talk about the issues that matter to the people, and I'll address your question too. But I'm telling you, the people of this country are asking, why is the Prime Minister not holding a debate on one nation, Maha-inflation? Why not? Why isn't he talking about that? He's talking about all this, and let me tell you why. And you actually alluded to this. You basically said, why on this day when the India Alliance was meeting in Mumbai? Isn't it obvious? These people are rattled. When the second meeting was held in Bengaluru, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah ran and said, we have 38. We're going to have a meeting of 38 parties, most of which we don't even know who are in these parties and what elections they've contested. We have 38 parties. That's what they try to divert the attention of the public from what was
let's
happening.
leave aside the timing for a second. Please answer the question I asked you, Salman. In principle, you should welcome one nation, one poll because the burden, financial burden, is far lesser on a party like yours.
Yes. Let me. But Zaka, this is not from the 1980s. The first elections in India were simultaneous elections.
Yes.
Until 1967, we had simultaneous elections. Then what happened was that when government started falling and this whole process got it diverged, and now we have come to 2023 and we have a system in place. These kinds of issues can be debated. There are pros and cons, no doubt about it. But the reason the Prime Minister wants us to talk about this is because he doesn't want the people of the country to think that the issues.
Congress.
Please don't interrupt. You're so.
Let him finish, ma'am. I've got two other guests also who have not spoken yet. So Salman, please conclude. Salman, please conclude in the next 20 seconds, please. Let's keep it railed. Let's keep it completely within the rails. Salman, please conclude in the next 20 seconds. I have to go to Ghanshyam Tiwari and to
Look, Zaka, I'm not interrupting anybody. Nobody should interrupt me. It's as simple as that. Let's have a civilized debate about this. So I think there are lots of pros and cons. Yes, of course. And by the way, this is a very diverse country with a very complicated electorate and lots of layers of government. So this is not about Lok Sabha, and then it's not about just assembly. It's not about just urban local bodies. It's panchayats. It's not just one panchayat. You have sarpanches, you have panches. It's good. It's a very complicated. It requires a lot of study, and there should be. Why
okay.
not? Let's
you know what?
But
one second. So let me ask. So no. I agree with you. I agree with you on there should be a lot of study. Now, so Salman, let me ask Ghanshyam Tiwari this. You know, the fact is there have been a lot of studies. I go back all the way to Election Commission 1983, Ghanshyam Tiwari. Their conclusion was this is a desirable system. I go back to the Justice BP Jeevan Reddy Commission, 170th report, May 1999, and this is what he said, and I quote from that report, we must go back to the situation where elections to the Lok Sabha and all legislative assemblies are held at once. 2003, I outlined how Prime Minister Vajpayee had taken this issue up with Congress President Sonia Gandhi. She appeared initially receptive, but then the idea did not take off. Again in 2010, BJP opposition leader at that time, LK Advani, took up this matter with Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Again, seemed receptive, but it went nowhere.